Hey everybody, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're diving into something I know you've all been thinking about, something that's been in the news nonstop. Donald Trump's America.
Yeah, we're going past those headlines, way past those tweets, to figure out just how he reshaped things, like fundamentally in American politics, you
Oh,
know?
it's wild when you really take a step back and think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember when he first announced he was running, everybody thought, okay, this is a publicity stunt, right? This is for his TV show.
right.
But then things changed, didn't they?
He really did.
So to help us unpack all of this, we're looking at this really interesting piece from the Daily Beast, and they call this whole thing the red pilling of America. Have you heard that term before?
Yeah, red pilling, it comes from the movie The Matrix, and it's all about like suddenly seeing the truth, like behind the curtain.
Right.
And for Trump's base, he was pulling back that curtain, showing them the system that they already kind of felt was rigged against them.
Totally. And he really understood how to play the media game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like he knew, like, to be on the news all the time, you got to say outrageous things, basically.
Exactly. He knew, like, outrage equals attention, and in the 24/7 news cycle, that is gold.
Right. It's almost like he made scandal his brand.
Absolutely. He was a master of it, even if people didn't want to admit it. It's like he understood the media was going to cover him no matter what he did.
Right.
So he just completely, like, stopped playing by the rules, and that put journalists in this really tough spot, right?
Yeah.
Because they had to cover him, they had to appear objective,
Right.
even when he was saying things that, like, nobody had ever heard a politician say before.
It really makes you think about how the media works, especially now with social media in the mix.
For sure. And I think it's really important to remember here, like, this wasn't just some, like, overnight shift, It
Right.
was distrust of institutions, this feeling that the American dream was, like, slipping away that had been building for a while.
So are you saying, like, Trump was a symptom of a larger issue, or did he cause, like, a whole bunch of new problems?
Oh, well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something we'll definitely keep unpacking as this deep dive goes on. What's fascinating, and what this Daily Beast article highlights so well, is the paradox at the heart of Trump's appeal.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
A lot of his most ardent supporters, the ones who felt like he was fighting for them, were actually the very people who'd been failed by the system he was claiming to champion.
Whoa. So they were drawn to his message because they felt like victims, but then his rhetoric actually reinforced that sense of victimhood.
Exactly. It's a vicious cycle. He tapped into existing economic anxieties, fears about cultural change, and a deep-seated distrust of the government. But then he amplified those fears, often by pointing the finger of blame at convenient scapegoats.
Like with immigration, that was a huge part of this platform.
Absolutely. He painted this picture of America under siege, with immigrants portrayed as criminals, job stealers, and a drain on resources. This kind of rhetoric, this us versus them mentality, it's not new, but he weaponized it in a way we haven't seen in modern American politics.
And it's not just what he said, it's how he said it, right?
You're absolutely right. Trump is a master communicator, at least in terms of emotional impact. He speaks in a way that bypasses rational analysis and speaks directly to people's gut feelings, their fears, their frustrations, their resentment.
It's interesting, the article draws a parallel between Trump and earlier populist leaders throughout history. They all use similar tactics, simplifying complex issues, blaming outsiders, and promising simple solutions to complicated problems.
It's a tale as old as time, sadly. And it's incredibly effective because it offers a sense of control, of agency in a world that feels increasingly complex and out of control.
So are you saying that Trump was just a cynical operator who exploited these vulnerabilities for his own gain? Or did you believe what he was saying?
That's the question that everyone is trying to answer. And it's probably a bit of both. There's no doubt that he's a savvy businessman, a showman who understands how to grab attention and hold it. But it's also possible that he genuinely believed at least some of what he was selling. Either way, the impact is undeniable.
This Daily Beast piece argues that the Trump effect will be felt for decades, that even though he's out of office, the political landscape has been forever altered. Do you agree?
100%. He's normalized a level of discourse that was once unthinkable in American politics. He's shown how powerful grievance and resentment can be as political tools. And perhaps most importantly, he's revealed a deep well of division and discontent within American society that isn't going away anytime soon.
So if that's the legacy, where do we go from here? What does it mean for the future of American democracy?
That's the question we need to grapple with. And it's conversation for part 3 of this deep dive.
Okay, so Wow, we've talked about a lot, haven't we? The rise of Trump, the whole red pilling of America idea, how powerful his way of talking to people was, and how divided we all are. Which, I mean, he definitely didn't create out of nowhere, right?
Right, exactly. And this Daily Beast article, it argues that we're still seeing his impact. Like, it's not just history, it's still unfolding. He kind of created this like template and now other politicians are using it.
It's like he ripped up the old rule book, and everyone else is like scrambling to catch up.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. He mixed populism, nationalism, and this kind of like politics of resentment in a way that really hadn't been done before. And I mean, you see it everywhere now, not just in America.
They use some pretty strong language in this article, like talking about American nativism coming back and how alternative facts have become normal. Is it
hmm
really that, I don't know, scary?
I think we have to be honest about the situation, right? Like I said, those divisions were already there. He didn't invent them. He just like used them, amplified them. There was this feeling of like economic anxiety, people feeling like their culture was under threat, and just like a general loss of trust.
So what do we do? Is there any way to even talk about these really complicated issues that led to, Trump even becoming president in the first place?
That is the big question, isn't it? And if I had all the answers, I'd be somewhere else. But I do think there's hope. I really do. For one, his presidency was like this huge wake-up call. We can't pretend we don't see the problems in our society anymore, how fragile things are.
It's like we all got red pilled, whether we wanted to or not.
Exactly. But even though it's, unsettling, it can also push us to change things. We have to make our democracy stronger, help people understand how to think critically, especially with the media, and maybe most importantly, find some common ground.
What can regular people even do? I mean, it feels so big.
Stay informed, stay involved. Don't just like check out because it's overwhelming. Read different viewpoints, think for yourself, don't just accept things blindly.
And don't trust anyone who says they have all the answers.
Exactly. Nothing's that simple.
Yeah.
The world's messy, right? But if we're willing to, have those tough conversations, really listen to each other, hold our leaders accountable, that's where we start.
That's a good note to end on. This has been, I don't know about you, but it's been a lot to take in. Really eye-opening, but kind of scary too.
It's good to sit with those feelings, though. Don't just go back to, like, your little bubble where everyone agrees. Our democracy depends on us talking to each other, even when it's hard.
So what do you think? What stuck with you from this whole deep dive into Trump's America? Let us know. And until next time, keep thinking critically and keep diving deep.